Watch me.
Just watch me now. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. Just watch me now.
And it's a very good afternoon to everybody, and thank you for joining us. My name is Aki Anastasio, and thank you for joining us for this exciting session on Microsoft Copilot, brought to you by Access and Microsoft. My name is Aki Anastasio. It's wonderful to be here on this post-election day, and we're delighted to have you here. And you survived the voting yesterday, didn't you? And we hope you're as eager as us to explore the incredible capabilities of this innovative tool. Now, listen, let's just get the elephant out of the room. I know that yesterday was a massive day for our country, and I see everybody in the room joining us here virtually. I'd love to hear from you. How long did you wait to vote in the 2024 elections? Just type in the chat and tell us how many hours you spent there in the queues yesterday. I know some people spent 10 minutes. I know somebody who spent 7 hours queuing to vote in this new democracy. So do type in the studio, and this is going to be a very interactive session. So we're doing this to test your interactivity alertness as well today on this post-election day. So in that box below, in the chat box, do type for us and tell us, firstly, introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and I'd love to know how many hours you spent queuing to vote yesterday. We'd love to hear from you. So today we are joined by a few experts who will walk through us how Copilot can revolutionize your marketing processes and enhance that customer interaction. We know today what the power of Copilot has, and are we using that properly? Are we using AI properly? Are we using the full capabilities of Copilot to maximize and add value and extract value out of the whole process when it comes to marketing, when it comes to revolutionizing marketing? So they'll be sharing their insights and experiences, and they'll help us understand how Copilot can streamline our marketing efforts and make sure that our campaigns are more effective. Because at the end of the day, we want more effective campaigns. And yes, I'm sure that, and I was like really hoping that some of the political parties would be here, because they could really make use of those marketing campaigns using Copilot, right? Now, we'll begin with a live demonstration where you'll see Copilot in action, and this will give you a first-hand look on how easy it is to use and how it can make a real difference in your daily marketing tasks. And after that, we'll discuss some of the actionable insights that Copilot generates, showing you how it helps in making data-driven decisions that lead to better results. And finally, we'll wrap up with some real-world success stories. And these examples will be, will really highlight the tangible benefits of using Copilot, showing you how other businesses have successfully integrated it into their marketing strategies and how they've achieved impressive outcomes. So let's get right into it today, and let's start off with an introduction to Copilot. Our first speaker is going to give you a comprehensive overview of what Copilot is and how it can transform your marketing approach. So without any further ado, let's talk about that overview of AI and its role in revolutionizing marketing strategies. And it's a warm welcome to all our speakers. Let me first introduce our speakers who are going to be talking to us about all of these things. Madeline Gray, who's the EMEA partner at GTM manager for MWS SME for Africa at Microsoft South Africa. Good afternoon to you, Madeline. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm well. How are you, Aki?
I'm superb, thank you. And how long did it take you to vote yesterday, just out of interest?
Only 20 minutes, but I'm more interested if everybody used their Copilot prompt in their out of office in their email and asked that to go into your out of office, because that's what I did. And it took me literally 2 minutes to set my out of office with Copilot.
Listen, I'll make use of that in the 2025 elections. But yes, that's a very useful tool, and we'll hear from you. Let me welcome as well the other speakers, Leanne Williams, who is the marketing director for Massive. Massive, of course, own Vumatel and Dark Fiber Africa. Good afternoon to you as well, Leanne. Are you there?
I am. Hi, Aki. How are you?
Hello, Leanne. How are you? Nice to have you with us. So listen,
Thank
how
you.
long did it take you to vote yesterday?
20 minutes.
My gosh, I'm doing something wrong then, clearly, in my district.
Wrong,
But
wrong
listen,
voting station.
it's wonderful to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Melissa Govender is the head of digital marketing and platforms at McDonald's South Africa. Good afternoon to you, Melissa. Is Melissa with us? Okay, oh no, we've got, hello, are you there? Is it Prasenjit? Hello,
Yes,
Prasenjit,
yes,
how
I'm
are
here.
you?
Hi, good afternoon. Very well. How are you, Aki?
Listen, I'm very good, thank you. And actually, I have a confession to make. I was rewarded yesterday after my voting session. I drove through one of your restaurants and I ordered a Grand Chicken Deluxe. What's it called? The Chicken Deluxe burger. Just to reward myself for voting yesterday. And it seems that you were all very busy yesterday.
I think you're speaking of Melissa's restaurants, not mine.
Yes. Okay.
And yeah, from McDonald's.
I'm just looking for Melissa. She's not on the screen, but you are the chief of decision science at Matogen, right?
I am the Chief Innovation Officer for Be Bold Digital South Africa.
Oh, fantastic! And tell us a little bit about yourselves. What do you guys do?
We are an innovation and client engagement consultancy. We work with large corporates, entrepreneurs in Africa and Europe. And yeah, we have a
Fantastic.
few thoughts to share on Copilot. Thank you.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking very much forward to it. And then finally, Quibus de Beer, Executive for Distribution for Intel at Sub-Saharan Africa. Good afternoon to you, Quibus.
Hey, Aki, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How long did it take you to vote yesterday?
It took me 4 hours, so I'm thinking we need to move to different districts so that we could be finished and done in 20 minutes. It would have been great.
No, listen, exactly that. Well, listen, we're going to unpack all of this and hopefully make our voting a lot easier. But today we're hopefully going to make marketing a lot easier using some incredibly powerful technologies that are at our touch of our fingertips. They're available right today. And I'm going to kick off with you, Madeleine. And of course, our panel, it's interactive. And I'd love our audience as well to interact with us as well. And you can type in your questions in the box if you have any questions for our panelists today. But let me kick off with the representative from Microsoft who's joining us today. And just to unpack exactly Copilot, Madeleine, you told us you had all sorts of tips and tricks around that Copilot, but marketing and AI and using Copilot in action. Tell us about this live demonstration and share your insights with regards to Copilot and using Copilot to really unlock and maximize value when it comes to marketing.
Sure. So I think I just want to start with Takeshi Nomoto, who's our Executive Vice President that reports to Satya. He's got this saying in his email note or his signature that says, technology is powering modern marketing, but it's still important to maintain a healthy balance between human creativity and tools. So it's quite interesting when I was asked to do a case study, I said, well, I'm the case study, right? Because I'm still the human person within the partner marketing advisor role with our partners in South Africa and across Africa. So I think when we talk about Copilot, just bear in mind Copilot is so broad, right? And we're going to show a video a little bit later around what is Dynamics 365 marketing and how the Copilot consolidation works. So I'll tell you what I did for today's panel speaking. I actually put in my Copilot in my browser and I said, okay, explain to me what are we going to do with AI in marketing? And it came up and it said, you know what, Madeleine, there's too many options, which there is, right? I mean, in the end of the day, when you talk about AI generative motions within campaigns, there's a lot that comes up. So I just want to use one example, and then we can go on throughout the panelists. So one of the things that I asked it, I said, okay, what do we do with content generation and editing, right? So it came up with a blurb, and it said, well, you know what? It can be extremely useful, okay, but you still need a content strategist. So I think what's really important is that human element that still comes back in AI and Copilot and bringing it all together. So I'll do one more, and then we can move on. So
Yes,
we talk about target audience research, right? So again, we all use propensity lists. We actually go and buy databases. We work with where the signals are coming from. So the conclusion that Copilot gave me is it's a great starting point to evaluate the quality of the content. It's a great starting point to refine your targeting, and it helps the efficiency of your campaign. But the biggest pro is it's advantageous when it talks to target efficiency and precision. But there's a con. It says the drawbacks, it goes to biases that's being created. So again, think about Copilot as your AI assistant, but bring in your human creativity as you create your campaigns and selling to your end customers.
Now, I'm sure that, and I'm just hearing stories from lots of different people who are using Copilot for various things. But you don't often hear of people that are using Copilot to unlock that value in their marketing campaigns. And I've heard of one or two people, and the stuff that they talk about has really, really blown me away. What is the most exciting feature when it comes to revolutionizing, artificial intelligence using open AI, which is obviously at the core of all of this? But when you're using Copilot, which is really the heartbeat of all of this in the Microsoft product, I mean, the intelligence that's built into it, what's been the most revolutionary thing that you've discovered in your sphere of business?
So if you think about Copilot, it's not just one facet or one tool, right, or one application. Because as you run your day or a day in the life of a marketer, you will start with various facets. You will start with email, bring in the prompt that says, can you give me the most impressive or the most of the campaigns that's running currently with the best results. You will go through your whole day. You'll bring in teams. You'll do transcript. You'll create notes in meetings with your agencies. Where, for example, if you're doing top of funnel type marketing, what do you ask that agency? If you do middle of funnel of marketing, what do you do with your buyer's intent tracking, for example? And as you go throughout your day, it will actually land up, for example, on pivoting Excel. And you can ask Copilot in Excel to bring up what is the main tactic that you've used to create that propensity that will have the right signal of the campaign coming through. So it's a big subset of various tools within Microsoft. It's not just one.
Okay, fantastic. Now, let me bring some of our other panelists into this conversation, because I'm really keen to hear, like yourself, Leonie Williams, Marketing Director at Massive. You've got a massive portfolio dealing with, Vumatel, which is driving this conversation. I must tell you, I'm using your fiber and Dark Fiber Africa. How has it changed your marketing, and how are you using Copilot in an AI world to get to your customers?
I think, as Madeleine said, there is a lot that goes into doing many things in marketing. And to drive efficiencies, we plug into what is available so that we can create more capacity within the team to focus on other things. You put stuff into whichever tool you're using, and it's almost it's like a starting point. You've then got to take it and make sure that the prompts you're giving speak to the relevance of your business, especially when it comes to targeting the audiences that you're trying to reach with messaging that resonates with them. It does take a lot of that initial, good ideas come from everywhere. But having a tool that you can plug into to consolidate all those different ideas helps a lot. And it's not just from people, it's from different sources, utilizing data that we already have, as well as pulling from different sources as well.
Okay, that's very interesting. Let me bring into the conversation one of our other guests, who's Jacobus Eckstein, Chief of Decision Science at Matagen AI. Hello, Jacobus, how are you?
Hi, I'm well, thanks. And your side?
There you are. I was looking for you in the beginning. My apologies. It's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Now, tell us just a little bit about Matagen AI. What do you guys do? And you've got a very interesting job. You're the Chief of Decision Science. What does the Chief of Decision Science do? It sounds very fancy.
At the end of the day, AI and generative AI and machine learning and natural language processing, they're all tools in your toolbox, but
Yes.
you need to use them to make better, faster decisions because that's what business people are interested in. So it's the science of making better, faster decisions. It's how to hide away all the complexity and make it simple, like a watch. There are so many moving parts, but at the end of the day, you want to know what's the time so you can make a decision around how fast I need to drive. So that's what we try and do. We abstract the complexity and we try and bring science to the decision-making process to give decision makers peace of mind and confidence.
Now, listen, so you know AI runs through your blood, and certainly Copilot has revolutionized how we use this technology. And I'm sure you work very closely with it. Can you tell us, from your perspective of dealing with data and understanding data, how revolutionary has Copilot been to organizations and individuals? Because at the end of the day, it's brought AI to the level that everybody can use.
Absolutely. So again, like a watch on your wrist, it's just giving you the ability to tap into all these technologies in a very human-centric channel. So whether it is, applying or creating data-driven strategies or more personalized campaigns or, real-time decisions or predicting future trends or churn, you don't have to be able to code to have access to it. And generally, AI is about saving you time. And the thing about something like generative AI or some of these foundational models is you can not just tap into your own time, but also other people's time and other people's IP. So it's like having an army of interns at your disposal. You still need to manage it properly, but it can save you a lot of time.
Fantastic. Well, let me bring in some of our other panelists who are using this technology, and I want to find out how they're using it. Kobus de Beer from Intel, welcome. And I know that Intel work very closely with Microsoft because at the end of the day, the AI is a technology that uses quite a bit of computing power to deliver the outcomes and the results. And I want to hear from your perspective, from an Intel perspective, how has Copilot revolutionized businesses today using your technology, which is really at the heart of the chip and the operating system that's running there, powering the operating system rather. Tell us your perspectives of Copilot and the AI capabilities and what it's done to change people's lives and businesses.
Yeah, I think it's if you look at what Intel has been doing in conjunction with Microsoft, obviously we've got a very long-term and a long-standing relationship with each other. I think the two companies has worked extremely closely together to bring that AI compute closer to the edge device or your client device, because a lot of the generative AI capabilities has been built into the cloud. Which obviously brings different risks with regards to security, where's my data, who's actually seeing my data, and those type of things. So Intel recently introduced new platforms, and you'll see a lot more of this coming into the forefront in the next couple of months, where we've actually built specific silicon or CPUs called neural processing units that is now based on the client devices or the notebooks that will help with the efficiencies that Copilot and the new Copilot Plus that was launched, I think, last week, Madeleine, that's going to come to the market, right? So, we are working to make that experience that the user is finding in those efficiencies that they want to bring it closer to the device. So I think from a hardware and technology perspective, the landscape that we're going to see in the next couple of years is going to be extremely important. And silicon vendors like Intel is going to be at the forefront to bring that to the fingertips of the users.
Let me bring in Prosenjit Sinha, who's the Chief Innovation Officer at Behold Digital, into the conversation as well. And just tell me how AI and Copilot, how are you using Copilot in your day-to-day activities? How has it revolutionized and made your life easier?
Everyone will enjoy this little case study. There's South Africa's third largest electric vehicle charging network in that's mostly based out of Western Cape, and it has around 15 electric vehicle charging points. Now, why is that relevant? That's relevant because it's a startup, it's bootstrapping, it's building technology uh, that prepares the country for the future, and in the process, it needs partnerships. It needs partnerships with hosts like bed and breakfasts, hotels, shopping centers. It needs partnerships like investors. So, what we helped the startup do is use it was quite valuable, and we underestimate by just speaking of the Gen AI, like Kobus was saying, Jakobus was saying, uh, Gen AI is just one of the tools. But what's really valuable, if you look at the Copilot Studio, is you can build an entire application workflow, uh, enabling the conversation with the partner, then the enabling of the sign up of the partner, which essentially means that this business starts to profile the customer or the partner in a profiling database, and that database can sit in the Microsoft environment, AWS environment, and finally using that information to build the business further. So what that startup was very quickly, without the deep technical skills needed for coding such applications, build up an entire workflow, and even integrate through APIs to transaction platform that accepts payments. All on the environment, so they didn't have to leave the Microsoft environment. By the way, the startup also won around $10,000 worth of credits from Microsoft this year. So all of that came together, all that, and yeah, and the app is ready, and the startup's working.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And by the way, if you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the day after the elections. It's the 30th of May. My name is Aki Anastasiou, and this is a series that we're talking about Copilot. We're doing this together with Axis and Microsoft, and understanding how AI can unlock the value when it comes to helping you get to better marketing campaigns. And we've got a host of experts here to unpack all of this and take your questions as well. And I've got a couple of questions which we're going to get through in just a moment. But let me also welcome Mandisa Botlela from FNB onto this panel as well. Hello, Mandisa. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome.
You.
It's lovely to have you with us. Now,
Pleasure to
FNB,
be
of course,
here.
I bank with FNB, so I'm going to show off there. And
Yay!
I love the technology you guys use and your innovative side that you have for your customers. But when it comes to
Yes.
Copilot and the back end of the marketing campaigns that you execute both internally and externally, how are you as a bank at FNB using this incredible, powerful AI technology tool embedded into Copilot to really give a better experience to your customers?
Sure. I love the fact that you highlighted how F&B is known for innovation. We usually are at the forefront of it, and our aim is really to help our clients and markets. One of the examples that I can give here across our digital platforms is we have what is called a budgeting tool. Now, like spending money from month to month, you're not quite sure where your money is going at the end of the month. We are able to actually build a budgeting tool for you based on your spending patterns and behaviors. You actually don't need to create a spreadsheet that is long ended and you're not quite sure how much you spend on groceries, on car petrol, and the likes, on your insurance, etc., etc. So it actually is built into our digital platform. So if you go onto the app or our website, you can actually download a budget that is set for you based on your habits, not only for individual clients, but also for business clients. So you'll be able to see what is happening in terms of your balance sheets and the likes, which is quite exciting. It really does drive the help and the convenience for our clients.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much for that insight. There's a question from the audience from Paledi who's asking about Copilot and being able to take
Aki, I think we've lost your audio.
There we go. Am I back there?
Yes, you are.
I don't know how that happened. It just did it, muted it by itself. But the question that I had for all of you was, it comes from Paledi, and it's about Copilot being able to take customer lists and see patterns from customer personas. So who wants to take that question on? It's really making sense of the data. Who wants to take that particular question from the audience?
I'll touch on it. So one way we're using AI is in recommendation systems. So one good example is in Netflix. My wife and I shared an account, and it started learning the clusters, and it started recommending to me romantic British period dramas with a strong female lead and violent action movies. So it's personalizing the recommendations based on different viewers, and that is very powerful because instead of this homogeneous blob of individuals, you can understand the different clusters. You can understand
Yes.
how to rank the different products for the different people, whether it's a churn use case or upsell or cross sell. And that is part of the power, to be able to learn about someone's recommendations without getting explicit feedback is really powerful.
Okay, so I guess that where we're coming to this, and Madeleine, I want you to come in, and Leanne as well, is really getting insights into your customers, understanding who's who, and how to target the customers based on their, their specific needs, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll just do a short blurb, Leanne, because I know you've got a lot more detail around data analytics. For us, when I think about Copilot in marketing, it's campaign optimization, right? So it's that precise targeting. So it is this Netflix concept as well, right? Where it talks to and says, okay, what do you like to watch? So when you do the target positioning on your propensity list with those signals, so Copilot will tell you, for example, and I love this because we always have top of funnel and middle of funnel discussions. And do you do the rinse and repeat? But when is that nurture stream so strong, and who do you target there specifically? So I've seen Copilot for marketing really, really deep diving into that, where the nurturing becomes stronger in specific assets that's coming in from the data sets.
Fantastic, thank you. Leanne?
Yes. So exactly what everybody sort of touched on. We actually use it more in the back end with data sheets that get uploaded, which then get clustered or grouped together, and relevant messaging will be pushed out. So I'm sure everybody in the marketing field knows what lookalike audiences are. In our world specifically, we've got our active subscribers, we've got our INAs, which are installed, not active. We've got public, the general public that we look to sell to. We've got existing clients that we try and upsell. And based on the audiences, their similarities, their interests, their behaviors, we are then able to customize different messages that are relevant. And obviously, we want to drive engagement. We have seen that working really well for us. And I will very proudly say that within our team, we contribute more than 30% of our monthly sales to all these initiatives that get run.
Wow.
And we can directly track that because it's all digital. So for every cent that we spend, we can then go and justify to our CFO that it is money well spent. We cover our own costs.
That's amazing. Can you give us just an overview of a recent campaign that you did using this technology as a case example, so we can understand what you're doing?
Okay, so we don't necessarily run specific campaigns. We've got a very cool one that's coming up, and it's actually a fully automated AI campaign. So we even have a virtual influencer that's being created, which is phenomenal. Even to me, I was like, "A what?" So really keep your eyes.
You're going to destroy influencers now, because you're making them virtual. So there's going to be no need for influencers on Instagram anymore. Thank God for that.
Well, I don't know if you know about Aitana in Spain. So she's a virtual AI model that they've created. She now has a more shy version of herself, and she's earning up to £10,000 a month. She's not even real, and people don't know that she's not real. One of the things that people are saying is exactly to your point, what happens to all the real influencers? And if you think as a business, why spend all that money on somebody who may show up and then may not show up, where you could have a virtual one that picks up on all the different sources, plugs into an AI tool, spits out everything that is relevant to your different target audiences, and drives engagement and uptake. So look, people are going to have to find clever ways of working with AI then.
What I'm amazed about is your return on investment, right? That you talk about using Copilot, using AI in a marketing campaign to get that kind of return is quite extraordinary, that you mentioned a few minutes ago.
Yes, it is. And the nice thing about it being digital is that, look, it's facts. So we're not reporting on perceptions, opinions, experiences. We're putting hardcore numbers in front of, especially the number crunchers. And it is what it is. I mean, you see what comes in and you see what goes out. So it's easy to compare. It takes a lot of strain and stress out of my life, at least.
Yeah.
We all know the first thing that you cut is marketing.
Yeah. And the amazing thing is that it's auditable, right? So you've got the hard proof saying this is who we got to, these are the results. But let's I've got a video for everyone to watch, and then I'm going to invite Madeleine to talk to the video to kind of put our discussion into perspective. Take a look at this video, ladies and gentlemen.
Martina is a marketer at Campari Group, a worldwide leader in the spirits industry. Campari Group is looking to increase awareness of Negroni Week, an event that celebrates one of the world's greatest cocktails and raises money for global charitable causes. She is using Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing to send personalized emails to venue owners to get them involved, and she has only 2 days to complete her project. Martina starts by defining the audience for her email. Earlier, she learned from Dynamics 365 customer insights that she should tailor her outreach to bar owners in New York City who participated in last year's Negroni Week. At most companies, this means finding that one person that understands data models and queries to create the target segment. With generative AI targeting, Martina can describe who to send it to in her own words. She then creates a new email from a template, and the Copilot in Dynamics 365 Marketing asks her what key points she wants to make. Martina needs inspiration for her email content and sees tips and suggestions are quickly provided to her. She decides she wants the key points to be the purpose of Negroni Week and the impact it has made. She sets the tone to adventurous. Setting the tone allows Campari Group, a global company, to tailor the tone of voice for each brand and region's communication style, saving Martina hours of copywriting. With those few simple steps, Martina receives text ideas that will make her job fast and easy. Let's look at a couple of examples. Over the past 10 months, Dynamics 365 Marketing has been working with hundreds of companies and marketing emails in the public domain to tune the generative AI for marketing scenarios. As a result, Martina feels the ideas are exactly what she's looking for. With a couple of clicks, Martina adds the ideas into her email. She is able to easily make changes to ensure accuracy and add her own personal touches. What used to take hours now takes a couple of minutes. Martina and other marketers like her are able to focus on delivering the most relevant and engaging content faster than ever. She sends her message and completes her project far ahead of her deadline. With Copilot in Dynamics 365 Marketing, Martina now spends less time on copywriting and audience targeting and more time on creative and strategic efforts.
Wow, Madeleine, that is really, really, really powerful. Can you unpack that for us, please?
Yeah, so again, I went into my Copilot because we work with Copilot all day, every day. And I actually asked Copilot around email marketing because specifically this case study talks to what you do to make sure that when you analyze recipients of your marketing campaigns, is it valid? Are we mimicking personalization? What are we doing exactly to create and drive the behavior and the actions from the email recipient? So it will definitely improve open rates by utilizing email with Copilot in your marketing campaigns. And I think the pro here is it's that these data-driven actions now becomes actual engagement, which feeds the sales funnel. So if you think about marketing in the context of Copilot, is we're bringing sales and marketing together. And what better way to do that than bringing the Copilot in both your day-to-day life as well as into your marketing campaigns. I'm not sure if the team can flash a day in a life for me now, but what we do is within a lot of our partners, we create these prompt hackathons, and everybody creates a day in the life of a marketing manager. So this is something that I can get access to share with everybody on the webinar, where you actually create your own day in the life and how you build Copilot into your marketing campaigns. And again, as I've said earlier, have a look at what you do. You've got Whiteboard here. You've got Copilot Studio that was mentioned earlier. You look at your teams. You look at your PowerPoint. So all of this comes in to the marketing manager, the marketing coordinator, and the VP of marketing, how you build that flow through of the day-to-day activities. Aki, you've jumped to mute again.
I'm not sure why my this is muting me all the time, but I'm back. Thank you for that. You, my unmute AI assistant. Thank you, Madeleine.
I'm your co-pilot today. I'm your co-pilot.
Yeah, you are indeed. So that's absolutely fascinating, and I want to invite the audience now, and I'm going to bring back all my panelists onto the screen. So do come back onto the screen. And everybody in the audience, anybody who's got any questions that you want to ask any of the panelists, please, this is such a great opportunity that we have these experts here giving you those opportunities to ask the questions. We got a question from Antasha, and Antasha wants to know, does it support using natural language prompts to build audiences for marketing campaigns that marketers can use to build triggered campaigns? Would you like me to repeat that question? Antasha wants to know, supporting natural language prompts to build audiences for marketing campaigns that marketers can use to build triggered campaigns. Who wants to have a go at that?
I can go with the basics.
Yes,
that's
yes,
okay with the audience. Yes. So natural language prompts, again, you have to teach your co-pilot your prompts and the way that you're talking. So if you're a digital marketing specialist, the way that you talk to social media is very different if you are a traditional marketing expert. And all is about modern marketing. So you have to bring your own language into your prompts. And as you learn to put prompts in every day in your day-to-day marketeer type initiatives, it will teach yourself and it will teach you as it moves through the prompt in itself. So it is natural, but again, remember, we are dealing with a bot. If the human intervention is required to make it more intelligent and to build science in to the activities that you do on a daily basis.
Okay. The other big question that we use when it comes to marketing campaigns is trying to predict churn within an organization. So I'd like to find out about AI optimizing ad placements, and how does AI, and in this case, when it comes to what we're talking about, the tools predicting customer churn, because customer churn at the end of the day is really a significant part of any marketing campaign. Is the technology able to predict that marketing churn, and how do you optimize those ad placements? Can Copilot do that?
Okay, well, I think, sorry, I'm going to speak. I think Madeleine, in terms of Copilot, would be able to give more insight in terms of that specific product benefit. But in terms of mitigating churn or trying to reduce it, I suppose, is also understanding, look, AI is phenomenal, but there have to be some insights, exactly as Madeleine said, that you have to be able to use to give it proper prompts. In terms of the whole client or customer lifecycle journey, you've got to have an understanding of what it looks like, have enough data that's been running for enough time so that those learnings can be picked up. And then I think that is when AI, well, I suppose if there's enough data running through the tool often enough or frequently enough, it starts preempting those behaviors. So before somebody terminates a service or stops using your product, it picks up on all those nuances that human beings may miss, and also we can't keep track of thousands of people at any given point in time. So it takes a lot of the work out of it, but you as a business person still have to have an idea of what that, not have an idea, you have to know what that journey is, and sort of have at least an idea of where the drop-off could occur. I think the trick is getting in touch with that person or those people in time to stop the next step. I don't know if you want to add more.
No, absolutely. Madeleine, I'm sure you want to add something to that as well, because I think that it's all embedded into Copilot. It's just understanding how to do it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, again, I'm not a digital specialist at all, which makes it so much easier for me to talk to you about this, because I was just thinking while Leanne was talking, what has come out in Copilot in marketing in the way that we do the data-driven decisions now and how we go to market is that need for a stronger nurturing period, that rinse and repeat. It actually tells you that this customer is not ready to buy. So what are you going to do with that customer? Because what will normally happen with a salesperson? Okay, the answer is no, right? Then what? We just leave that lead. And it's sometimes it could be a marketing qualified lead, it could be a sales qualified lead. But most of our MQLs just fizzles away. So what the AI-driven decision-making Copilot does for you is it tells you, take that person, take that lead and put it back in the funnel and nurture it, because it can become one of your biggest deals or one of your biggest customers to take it into the streams of the execution.
You're muted again.
You're getting my Copilot's not working, Aki.
Okay, there we go. I don't know why it's muting me. I'm terribly sorry about that. Anybody else want to come into that conversation and add further to what we discussed? I see Jacobus is nodding. What's your take on this, Jacobus?
Yeah, I think it's important for the business person to understand, what does churn look like? Is it maybe 30 days without activity? Because the bot can't support you if you don't know what you're trying to achieve. And in many cases, the decision to churn comes before the lack of activity. Maybe there was a bill shock. So I think that's important to understand. At the end of the day, once you have a model, so what? Because if you target everybody with your churn campaign, you'll irritate many customers who aren't planning on churning. So how do you find that balance to target those with high probability of churning without alienating anyone else? And that's the human-machine interaction.
Okay, great stuff. I got a question from Karen, who talks about small marketers in smaller organizations, right? And are they using apps that they're comfortable with, like Canva? I use Canva, for example. I think it's a great app, which now have AI integrated into the software. How is Copilot integrated with external marketing apps? And I think it's a great question, because, you know, as big as an ecosystem that Copilot is within Microsoft, is it compatible with apps from external organizations? And I know that you can download lots of add-ons, but how flexible is Copilot when it comes to external applications?
I guess that has to come to me again. That's a bit too much of a technical question for me. I do very agile, fluent prompts across multiple platforms. I work with multiple agencies. So I haven't come across an error of not understanding what AI is asking you back, or how you revert back to your Copilot assistant. So yeah, please practice. So for me, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's fluid. I don't often have issues with that.
No, I think one of the
Yes,
Yeah,
please
sorry,
go
Aki, I
ahead.
wanted to add to what Madeline was saying. It's a very interesting question. So, if you before the campaign goes live, or after the campaign goes live, a lot of the segmentation, the resegmentation, retargeting comes into play. But imagine the process before the campaign goes live. Just imagine it for a moment. You have 3 or 4 different creative centers. A team's doing copy, another team's doing audio, another team's doing video, visuals, etc. Someone's got the marketing strategy in their mind. This is how it's got to come together, and then someone's coordinating all the activity. Everything has to fall into place at a specific date, at a specific quality, and has to be then published in a regular, in a scheduled manner. So I just relate to the earlier example I was giving. It allows you to create the Copilot Studio. Not only uses Gen AI, but you can create workflows, you can create links, you can create tree structures of exactly what is going to happen when, and you can create rules between the tree structures. You can say, give it 7 days and then trigger this, or you can schedule posts. So you could build. So to answer your question, whether or not it integrates with third-party tools like Canva or CoSchedule or anything like that that you'd be using in a small to medium-sized business, what you should be able to do is replicate your otherwise manual marketing operational process into a Copilot driven. In fact, another tool requires mention, not just Copilot, but also Power Automate. Works hand in hand in this space. You can use these tools and create that operation, and you don't have to be sitting in the same building. You could be in 10 countries and doing this work.
Okay, so there's that flexibility and the liquidity that's built into Copilot, and I know that many people talk about it, that it's got that kind of flexibility to be able to bring in stuff. And to that point, and I've got a question after this for you, Mandisa, that I want to ask specifically about the bank that intrigues me as a customer on how you guys do this. But let's take this question from Paledi, who wants to talk about. And here's the thing, when you have a marketing campaign, you're taking different bits of information from different Microsoft products, right? So Paledi wants to know, you've got MS365, you've got Excel, you've got PowerPoint, you've got Outlook, you've got an email database, you've got stuff from Teams that you may have discussed. How do you take that information from all those different applications, and of course it's all different data sets, right? And create a strategy or prioritize pivots, and further down the line create an entire campaign using all those bits of information? I mean, is something like that entirely possible? Can Copilot do that when you talk about all those different bits of data? And let me start off with you, Jacobus, because that's your game. You operate with all those different data sets. Can it be done?
Yeah, I think if it's just about that pilot-co-pilot interaction, having to understand how to do it, yeah, I don't see why not. It's just, again, about identifying the use case. What are you trying to achieve? Because that determines what data you need in the process. You need to be able to articulate that well.
Okay, fantastic. Anybody else want to have a shot at that as well? Because it sounds like what we're trying to find out is using different sets of data. Who else wants to have a go at that?
Yeah, maybe
jump in. Oh,
Yes, Cobus.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I think what we've seen in the past is between 70 and 80% of any AI campaign or project fails because there's no end goal in sight, or no end goal has been decided on. So I think whatever business, whatever campaign you want to run, you kind of need to understand why we're doing this and what do we want to get to and what do we need. And from there on, you can choose which tools to use, what technology you need as well to actually make it worthwhile. Because there's so many different data sets and there's so many things that's coming, to the users or to the marketers that they might get flustered. So I think as a business, regardless of the size, they need to decide on, what is the end goal here and how we're going to get there. And this is what makes AI is going to make it easier for us to get there, whatever tool we decide on using. But the human intervention still needs to be there to guide the AI bot or whatever it is to actually get to the end goal. And I think that's what makes it so interesting. We're just going to get better at what we do, and we're going to do it a lot quicker.
Okay, fantastic. Mandisa, I want to come to you now because I've been a customer with, and I'm going to give my age away. Before F&B had an app, right? So I mean, it's going back a long way. But this app is astonishing, and I'm busy opening it right now. And the rich data that's within this app at the moment, when you just scroll down and you realize that there's so much going on in this app, but yet you've managed as a bank at F&B to simplify that process and help me as a customer navigate easier through there. And at the same time, you're getting your messaging across. So how are you guys using AI in relation to me as a customer, navigating through your different technologies and different offerings? How are you using AI within that particular app to really enhance my experience as a customer on your digital platform?
100%, Aki. I mean, FNB was one of the first banks to actually launch a banking app. So we've been in the market for quite some time. And what is happening now is we're actually going beyond banking. And what the purpose of the app is not just about checking balances of your accounts or moving money. There's so much that is available on the app that naturally integrates into an individual's life. I mean, if you go onto the app right now, there's a tab called Nav. So within Nav, we've got Nav Home, Nav Car, Nav World, Nav Care. So I mean, whether you want to donate, we've got Nav Care in there, Nav Car, whether you're looking to shop for a new car or you want to pay your car disc or your license plates and the likes, we can do it all for you at the touch of a button. And I think that's the whole point of our FNB app. It really is to drive help and really integrate and be your third hand, I suppose, in your everyday life, 24/7, available, obviously, when there is no load shedding and you have Wi-Fi. But yeah, available 24/7. You can pretty much do anything and everything on our app. And I guess that's what AI helps. And based on what you click on, what your interests are, then those are the prompts that sort of get put up front and are more relevant. We also use it for cross-selling products, hey. So we look at how clients' buying patterns are. So if you're looking to maybe do home renovations and the likes, so you'll start to see that we actually drive, if you are pre-qualified or pre-selected, we are able to drive and push those certain products that you might be looking for in other digital channels. Then we're able to actually pick up those nuances and bring them into the solutions within the app.
Gee, that's brilliant. I actually noticed something the other day that you guys did, because I'm busy doing a renovation, and obviously the data picked up that I was busy spending money at Builders Warehouse, and then all of a sudden one day I get a prompt to say, hey, do you want some more money to finish your project? You've been pre-selected for a loan. I see what you guys did there. Look, at the end of the day, you guys represent organizations that you've gone through this whole process using Copilot, using data, but the data is the critical part here, and I want everybody's input on this, because many organizations are sitting with tons of data that is actually not useful to what you want to do in a marketing campaign and how you're going to use it with AI. So talk to me about the importance of using very clean data and making sure that your data is perfect when you want to do this marketing campaign. Because Jacobus, I'm sure that you come across many organizations that are sitting on this data, but actually you most of it is useless when you want to use it within Copilot and really take this marketing campaign and use AI in that backdrop. Talk to me about data and clean data and making sure that the data is right before you engage on the marketing campaign.
Sure. There are two kinds of people in the world, those that can deal with incomplete data. So actually, 70% of a company's data is so-called dark data on average. So it's the data that they have access to, but they're not using it. And in most data science projects, about 80% of the work is data preparation. So it's that old garbage in, garbage out adage and finding the signal, the noise. And often data was stored for a certain purpose, but now you need to use it for another use case. So it is really important to, I think, anticipate what the data should be used for when you're storing it and when you're planning, but also when you're pulling something, make sure that it can be used for the purpose that you're using it. Because you're empowering a tool like Copilot to empower you by investing in that, and not investing in it is called technical debt. And at some point, you need to pay your debt.
Okay. Anybody else want to shot at data? Because, and I'm not going to single out people specifically, but I've heard of some disasters when it comes to using campaigns, using AI, using marketing, and the data is not clean, and it leads to a disaster. Who else wants to have a go at that data?
Sure, I
I
can
I'm a
give
bit
an
concerned.
example.
No, go. I just wanted to make a comment. Aki used the word
Sure.
perfect data, so that really scares me. So I think for all our marketers out there, there's no such thing, right? Because of your social selling extensions that you get across all platforms, there's no perfect data. And the signals also vary. And I love the word dark data because some of those signals really need some light on it before you can shine it through the actual campaign.
Quibus?
100%, Madeline.
Yeah, I think, I can
Okay.
maybe just a side comment on the data. I think a lot of the big chain stores know exactly what we are buying, as an example. So by just cleaning the data, they can have customized, personalized campaigns to specific users. As an example, I don't want to see email ads about baby nappies because my kids don't wear nappies anymore. But if there's specials on products that I often buy in every single month, that is very easy to potentially gather and build campaigns around different personas, as an example. So that is a very small step that marketers can take to customize and personalize. Because if a campaign is personalized to myself as a user, I feel closer to the product and the brand that I'm buying from, right? So, I mean, it's small things that can make massive differences if your data is right.
Okay, fantastic.
100%.
Now listen, we talk about. Carry
Sorry,
on,
Aki. I just
Melissa.
wanted to add in there. Interesting enough, I mean, you've got clients who are both individuals, so they bank individually, as well as business clients. So, yet they use the same account, for example. So when we're targeting them, you're not sure whether the message is going to land in Mandisa's inbox or one of my employees. If I've got an SME, and the challenge that we sometimes find with clean data is that you could be targeting Mandisa, but the PA is the one who gets my emails, and then you saying, hi, Mandisa. So sometimes we do miss the mark there, whereas that's why it's so important to clean the data to really understand, who the end person who's going to get the content and the messaging at the end of that campaign that you're building.
No, very true. Now, we talk about engagement, and I'd love to hear the input from everybody in the audience right now. We're going to bring up a poll, and just to understand where everybody is with regards to what we're talking about today, AI marketing, talking about Copilot, and really helping you as a marketer get the best out of your campaign. So you'll see a poll that will come up right now. We've got 3 different questions, and we're also going to use this as a tool to just gather information for Access to give them feedback after this event. So let's take a look at that first poll question, and let's have everybody answer accurately and to your best knowledge about this. So the first poll question coming up on your screen right now. Okay, it's not coming up on my screen. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Do we have that poll question ready? Okay. As soon as it's ready, it will pop up on the screen. But I want to just talk very quickly about best practice, right? Because at the end of the day, when we are talking about marketing and we talk about AI, we talk about Copilot, best practice is really critical in this entire process. Who wants to have a go at best practice when it comes to marketing and using these incredible digital tools that we have today, and using the best practice when it comes to marketing? Leanne, what about yourself within your organization? What's best practice when you're using these kinds of tools?
Make sales. No, I'm kidding.
Marketing. That's what we do. Marketing.
I think one of the challenges that I've experienced, not just in DFA and Vuma, but across all my past lives, strangely enough, Mandisa, I'm actually also a first-strand baby. And one of the biggest challenges that we had across data and best practice is not only clean data, but where you have the same data that sits in different parts of an organization. That's just the internal part of it, right? So you have one product house sending Leanne one message. You have another product house that then overrides that message that product house A sends. And it starts becoming very confusing for the end user or the customer. The other thing that I wanted to say is Poppy. All these AI tools are fantastic. And if you own the data set that you're targeting, it's, I suppose, more within your control. But when you start tapping into other applications like Lucia, for example, or start using other tools that sit with their own data sets to target specific audiences that you don't know, that you'd like to break into, but you don't know who that end customer is in terms of, is it an Aki or a Madeleine? At that level, do you have the right to communicate to that person? So all these tools are fantastic, but in terms of best practice, the one thing that keeps on coming back to haunt us, well, me at least, is are we sending or are we infringing on anybody's rights? Do they want to receive the communication or not? Advertising is different because you don't have to opt in. So the SEO, paid advertising and that sort of stuff. But when you're driving a campaign from your end, you've got to make sure that you are talking, that you have permission to talk to that person or that group of people.
Yeah, listen, Papia is a very, very important aspect of this, because here we are getting lots of data. We need to know where the data is coming from, and we need to make sure that those people that we're targeting have given us permission for us to target them, right? And I think that brings all sorts of other challenges to the entire equation.
100%. And I think outside of that, then we've touched on all aspects of it. In terms of best practice, it's relevance. And again, to one of the points that Mandisa raised is, I'm one person, but I have many different interests. It could be one product that is used for many different functions, or an enabler to do something else. So which message is relevant, which then speaks back to what is the core of your business, what is the objective of the campaign or the engagement that you're looking for? Are you tracking the right things? Are you reporting completely on what you find? I think one of the things that can trip marketers up very easily is say, yes, we've got this report, and then you only have partial information. So the information that you're pulling is factually correct, but it's only a part of the story. So with any tool that is used, make sure that you collate all the different pieces and report on it holistically.
Okay, fantastic. Just talking about that poll and the questions that we have, they will appear in your chat box. So for the audience, you will see it in your chat box right now, and it's two very simple ones. It's if you want to get a free AI adoption assessment from Axis, they're offering a free AI adoption assessment to all webinar participants here today. So if you'd like to receive it, just say yes, please, or no if you're not. And if you're very excited about it in transforming your campaign, if you're interested, you'd like to learn more, if you're curious, I need to know more, and if you're not interested, it's D. So most of you are very curious and they want more details, so Access will get back to you on this one. I want to bring back my panelists, because we've been talking about the campaigns and how powerful AI is, but the great thing about AI and the great thing about using Copilot against the backdrop of what we're talking about is that it's constantly learning what you're doing. So when you want to apply future campaigns, you know what not to do and what to do and what to improve on, and what you've learned from the digital audit that you're getting back from all of this. But I guess as well is where the power comes in here is that the AI is also learning about what you're trying to achieve and is coming up with other suggestions on improving what you want to do in your campaign. Have you guys noticed that? I mean, are you finding that the AI is at that level already, that it's able to assess and suggest future campaigns based on what you currently have done?
Definitely. I think, sorry, Leanne. I think in my world, I'll use an example in terms of when clients actually apply for funding or loans. So a client will come and ask for funding, they'll apply on our digital channels, and they might get declined, which is not a good experience. What we're trying to do now is in terms of what is the decline process, what is the approval process. So if a client gets declined, the messaging that we send is then we need to highlight exactly why they were declined. So was it a credit check, credit bureau issue? Do they need to maybe ensure that all their payments are up to standard so that the next time in the next 6 months they can apply? So that is how we're using, I guess, machine learning and AI to really help client experience so that they understand where they are in the credit world, how they improve their credit score so that they can stand a far better chance in getting approval in the near future.
Okay, who else wants a crack at that one?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we already see that happening, especially in the digital space with adverts, you know, who gets to see what. And because you don't only run one ad set, it can learn very quickly to say, okay, this is not hitting the mark here, let's push it somewhere else. Or, you know, we're not getting the engagement that we were expecting here. So how do we quickly change it so that it is more relevant to the audiences that we are looking to reach? So that is where time-saving efficiencies come in, where somebody doesn't have to physically go and, you know, constantly keep an eye on something 24/7. It can happen automatically. You may just need to check it once a day or twice a week or however often it would need to be revisited. But it happens every day. I mean, when last have you looked at a car? You look for it once in Google, and then all of a sudden it's on Facebook and LinkedIn and it's popping up everywhere. That's pretty much it. And maybe today I'll use myself as an example. When I look for a car, I want to know, does it have a camera and does it beep? When my husband looks for a car, he goes into the same he looks at the same vehicle, same model. He wants to know what the fuel consumption is. The ads that I get served, however, are very different from what he gets served. He sees more of the left brain stuff. I see more of the right brain stuff because they know that these are where our interests lie. And will influence
exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, but this links to the previous question because machines can learn from wrong data as well. So that is where best practice is so important. Before you plan a campaign, make sure you have a control group. Make sure you control for cannibalism so that you're not cannibalizing other campaigns, because otherwise it can learn it was a good campaign, but you're cannibalizing a lot. Or it might actually not have been such a good campaign because your control group was wrong and you don't have that feedback loop. So it's all linked to the previous conversation.
I think, Jacobus, to that as well, I mean, you can learn that quite quickly as well and get good insights in terms of A/B split testing. You don't have to wait for a week to pass. You can run it in parallel and use the best performing project or campaign, or action.
Yeah.
I wanted to add a little.
Yes, go ahead, Prasenjit.
Experience on Copilot particularly. So say you've created two engagement processes for two different segments of customers within Copilot, right? So you create one for one segment, another for another segment. What I've seen Copilot fairly tactfully do is, if the wrong segment is in the wrong channel, it will give you, it will learn and it will automatically present the right options to you in context of your conversation. So that helps manage your get the right customer on the right process or the right track if your engagements have been built on Copilot. So that was quite valuable. It has been.
So, guys, I can't believe how quickly the time has gone by, and it's been such a fascinating discussion. I know we've got a few minutes left, but I want us to take a step back, and I want us to help guide the audience in the right direction, because I guess that at the same time that we're talking of how wonderful technology is in unlocking all of this, there can be some form of intimidation, and especially if you don't do things properly from the beginning, it could lead to disastrous circumstances, or unsuccessful campaigns going forward. So where does one start their journey? What should you have in place in the right way? And I know we've touched on a lot of this in different ways, but I'd love to hear from all of you in the beginning. If you are giving advice to a digital marketer who comes to you and says, I want to use Copilot and I want to make successful marketing campaigns, I want to use my databases effectively, help me in getting my house in order. What steps should I be doing to ensure that I have everything right? It's almost like you're putting that foundation when you're building a new house down, and that's got to be right, because you've got to have the right conduits for plumbing, you've got to have the right wiring for electrical, and you've got to plan these things. Otherwise, the house is not going to be built properly. So when somebody comes to you and says, I'm a digital marketer, I want to use Copilot, I want to use AI to improve my marketing campaigns, what is your advice to that person? Let me start off with you, Kobus, because you touched on some of those points earlier, and you had some great points that I wanted you to bring up again. So I'm going to ask you all of you the same questions. But Kobus, what is your advice to somebody who comes to you with that question?
Okay, I'm going to put on my sales hat and tell you to buy the latest and greatest Intel-based device, right? So, but I think
just before you do that, it's important to have the right technology, because if you're using a machine that's built for Windows 10, for example, it's not going to deliver the same results as a machine that's got Windows 11 and is featuring the latest Intel processor. Because let's be honest, AI and the crunching, even though a lot of it's happening in the cloud, you need to have that embedded into your processor as well. So I'm glad you brought that point up. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no problem. I think, it's a great point. And, the technology at the client device, like I said earlier, is pretty important, but also, what are you using in the back end, as an example, which, then the discussion becomes very technical. But, what we're doing, again, like I said earlier, is, we are now designing client devices or notebooks that's got 3 different processors, the traditional CPU, the GPU that we've been using for graphics, as an example, and then we've got this new NPU that's coming to the market. So, Copilot Plus, as an example, will offload a lot of the calculations and processing that needs to happen from an AI perspective onto these new NPU processing units. So, that is one aspect. The other thing is, we've worked very closely with not just Microsoft, but all, close to 100 or 200 different ISVs to ensure that their software takes advantage of the new technology that we're bringing to the client devices, as an example, to enhance the products and to enhance the user experience. So, that would be one thing. And I think, getting back to what I said earlier, is what is the end goal that they want to achieve, and then kind of build their base from there. That's the most important one for me.
Okay, fantastic. Prasenjit, what is your advice to somebody who comes to you and says, listen, I want to start off with an AI marketing campaign. What are the basics that I should be getting right before I start? And I would imagine the first thing to do is attend more workshops like the ones like we're doing today from Axis and Microsoft to understand it, having the experts like yourself. But what's your advice, Prasenjit?
For the marketing domain, which is what my partner runs, 2 or 3 years back, we built a automated marketing operations process for British Council all over Africa. We are currently building it for a certain other cloud provider based in the UK. I won't mention them here because it's Microsoft and there's a certain other. But anyway, long story short, when you're building, for me, the most beautiful work can be done with this technology when you take a human-driven, human-coordinated, orchestrated process like marketing operations, which is hectic. Like, I mean, if you're running campaigns once a month, twice a month, the amount of effort that goes into it is heavy. I would suggest to turn the operations into automated operations. And you can start using AI for creative purposes as a secondary tool. Primary tool is obviously the best designers you have on your team, who cognitively understand what your end user really wants to hear, and get it right with them. Whereas the operations can be automated, so that way your speed, accuracy, everything goes, and then your quality of delivery is still up to scratch. And that's how you achieve a very, very effective marketing operation eventually. Like, obviously, you have to spend some
Thank
time.
you. That's a great bit of advice. Mandisa, what's your advice to someone?
Sure, I'm gonna lean into what Percent has also just said. I really believe in order to get the best efficiencies and effectiveness of any AI tool is really to have a solid balance between the human side of the world as well as the AI side, because what you feed it is what then will come out, and based on what you feed it is going to be best in class or worst in class, according to, you know, how much information, how much insights, how much data you actually put into the tool to really make sure that you get the best out of it.
Thank you for that. And what about yourself, Leanne? And I'm sure that you've got some incredible advice to disperse, as you all are, because you've all made those mistakes in the beginning. You're not going to repeat them. And it's great to listen to all of you, because you're helping people avoid the mistakes you've already made, you know. So it's all school fees, right? So what's your advice to someone?
Okay, so for me, it's know your business. You have to know your business, whether it's people, whether it's product, whether it's processes, know your business. Then know what it is that you want to achieve, and then decide on what tools you may or may not need. All the other things that we've spoken about, things like data quality of data, data governance, budget, what can you afford, what are the parts of your business that are priority. So it could be processing or automation of operational sort of steps, but maybe you really need to generate revenue so that you can put operational steps in place to assist you. So that for me is, I think a lot of people underestimate how important it is to know your business. I mean, I remember when I worked at eBay, strangely enough, Mandisa, Yolandi Duvenage was still the CEO at the time, and she said, if you can't
Yes.
explain to me what we do, if I wake you up in the middle of the night and you can't explain to me what we do in less than 30 seconds, you don't know what we do. So you gotta know your business.
She's at NAV now, by the way.
I
She is
know,
part of the
I
NAV
know.
team.
She's the
I know.
chief Imagineer. Chief Imagineer
Yeah.
is her business card, which is a cool title. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't think I can stress that enough. Otherwise, you could go
So-
down a million rabbit holes.
It's incredible hearing the common thread here. Even, you know, Kobus touched on it as well as Mandisa and Prasanjit, is know what you want to do, understand your business. Kobus, what's that advice that you give to somebody who wants to adopt AI in marketing? They said we've got Copilot within the organizations, we've got all these tools. What advice would you give them, Kobus?
The chain is as weak as its weakest link. So make sure you build that chain between the business objective and the business KPI, what people are speaking about, and how that gets translated into an instruction to Copilot, how what comes out of Copilot is implemented in the business again, and how the results from the implementation can be fed back so the AI can learn. For me, the question isn't whether AI learns or thinks, it's whether humans will continue to learn and think and use common sense.
Okay. Use common sense and use a proper database. Yeah, we're not going to enhance that more and more. But Madeleine, coming back to you finally, is what advice do you give? And I'm sure that you at Microsoft get this question asked so many times, in laying that foundation, the proper platform before you engage on this.
Leanne said it, right? She said, what are you also achieving? So to build an AI campaign bottom up, you need to look at your key results. So KPIs are critical to set the real versus the projected. And if you cannot use your AI Copilot to bring forward those projected results versus your real results, you have to have that foundation. And from there, you build the various nuances to bring the different facets of your funnel into realm of the marketing campaign in itself. So we can all talk about AI and all talk about Copilot, but you need a foundation to build the Copilot objectives from, and then build it on to where the results will achieve. Because in the end of the day, who's going to come and ask the CMO? The CFO is going to say, how effective was the campaign and how much money did you spend? And then you just ask Copilot, and Copilot say, no, we were great because this is how much money we spent, this is real, and this is what was projected.
Okay, I see there's a question from the audience as well about security, and I think security is really critical over here, especially when you're dealing with such sensitive data, and we hear of these data breaches. And it's a very simple question: is that how secure and safe is the data, customers' data, and your own data if you feed it into Copilot? So how safe is the data when you feed it into Copilot?
Yeah, just bear in mind, this is a webinar completely on its own, right? When you talk about security and data governance,
Yes.
But data governance is the catalyst for AI. So when you talk to any Microsoft person, either in selling or marketing, is the security of the data governance will come in, because it creates the catalyst for your AI motions, for your AI discussions, and absolutely bringing in the science of AI to make sure that your data is secure. So there's always the two variances when we do marketing campaigns. So security is an absolute critical point for Microsoft. And again, when you talk to any seller, they will always bring in the security discussion as well, because the two goes hand in hand.
And then Grant has just a question. I think it's quite a technical one, so maybe we can get back to Grant on this specifically. But Grant asks if the Copilot is aiming to remove the need for a MarTech stack, examples like HubSpot, Marketing Hub, Databox, etc., or just enhancing and guiding the implementation of these tools. Anybody got a quick answer to that particular question?
I can get back on that one, but in the end of the day, Copilot is about enhancing all productivity within the marketing day-to-day activities. So, but I can get back on that one if it's a more technical answer that's required.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I firstly want to thank the incredible audience that we've had today in joining us for this webinar brought to you by Axis and Microsoft. Thank you very much for your amazing questions that you guys have asked. They've really been quite insightful and sparked off quite a bit of conversation. I want to say a special thank you to all our panelists who have joined us today. Cobus de Beer, the Executive for Distribution for Sub-Saharan Africa at Intel. Jacobus Eckstein, the Chief of Decision Science at Matagen AI. Mandisa Bohlela, Pillar Marketing Lead at FNB. Prasenjit Sinha, who's the Chief Innovation Officer for Be Bold Digital. Leanne Williams, Marketing Director for Massive, who are behind Vumatel and Dog Fiber Africa. Madeline Gray, the EMEA Partner, GTM Manager for SMB for Africa at Microsoft South Africa. Thank you all so very much in sharing your insights and talking about such an important topic today. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Aki.
And it's a
Thanks.
great pleasure. And yeah, it's all about adopting AI in marketing initiatives, offers really numerous benefits, as you've all been seeing so far today, and it really improves efficiency by automating all of these routines. So I hope that you found this webinar very, very interesting. Those of you who replied to get some more information from Axis will be in touch with you to get that information that you require. So thank you very much for joining us today. Wishing you a great day further. We're going to close with a video that you're going to find very useful, and we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at a next webinar from Axis, who really are bringing all of this valuable information to help make your lives a lot easier. Thank you for joining us.
Whoa. Straight to the top, never going down, don't wait for the drop. Stand still, that's the motto, yeah. Brand new bands for the auto, oh. Foot to the ground, full throttle. Big energy for the night like lotto. Y'all talk lots, never this quiet. Life like a Seinfeld plot. Ball full of songs, all of them bombs. Something like a minefield guy, boom. Get it, tickets running out quick. Bet it, wanted it, never getting outbid. Said it, never had to shout it. They said I couldn't ever do it, okay, how's it? Fit a week worth of work in a minute. Machine well oiled, you know how I stay efficient. To-do list written, I do this different. Hold up, wait a minute, I ain't finished. Look, flows the same now. Paved the way to snakes and fakes are chased out. Back to back to back, I changed the pace now. Had to stack the cash until the bank's out. Straight to the top, never going down, don't wait for the drop.